Hello children, welcome to another chapter in physics. Today what we are going to start will be motion in one dimension. So before we actually go into the chapter, let's talk about the very basic terminology related to the chapter, because this chapter will be very useful and very crucial when we are going to study next chapter, that will be the laws of motion. So before we go into the laws of motion, different existence of the laws or different protocols present for the laws, we need to understand what is motion, what is rest, what is speed, velocity, and all these basic terminology. So let's start. As you already know, you must have already studied, or you must have been studying these topics, these terms in the previous classes as well. So we'll just take a quick revision. So what is rest? Rest is basically like when a body does not change its position with respect to its surrounding. So the body is said to be at rest. And over here the surrounding refers to immediate surrounding. Like suppose you are sitting in a compartment of a train. So if you are going to look at a fellow passenger, so that will be your immediate surrounding. So with respect to him, you are at rest if you are not leaving the compartment or if you are not moving in the compartment. But if your train is moving, and when you are going to have a look outside the train, so maybe you are crossing your trees nearby, or maybe a platform is being crossed, so in that case immediate surrounding will be the things to be considered outside the compartment. So in that case you will be in motion. So immediate surrounding is the word that we refer to for the surrounding part, and when a body changes its position with respect, so that is what is known as motion. So these are the very basic terms, rest and motion, that we deal, that if whether an object is moving or whether an object is at rest, so it depends upon the immediate surrounding. Next, what we have is the scalar quantities. So the physical quantities which are expressed in magnitude only, that are referred to as scalar ones. Like suppose you have to measure the length of this page from this end to this end, so simply you will be using a scale, isn't it? Whether you take this very direction to measure or whether the downward direction, doesn't matter, irrespective of the direction, you simply take a scale and measure the length. So that will give us the length. Suppose area is to be calculated for this very sheet, maybe I think this is like taken into consideration a rectangular part. So length into breadth will give us the area. So goes for volume, that depends upon object to object. And again, so none over here, none of the unit that I have written, I mean the physical quantities what I have written, none of them takes into consideration that we have to take into the consideration that this has to be applied in this very direction, only then we are able to calculate. No, this doesn't needs any direction. So that is why these will be coming under the category of scalar ones. Now let's talk about the vectors. So the physical quantities which are expressed in magnitude, magnitude refers to value. Value could be like 2 kilometer, it could be 20 cubic centimeters. So 20, this number refers to the magnitude, and the direction refers to, if the direction is present, so it will be a vector. Suppose when we apply a force to move this object, so we have to move in this very direction or this very direction, that is the main thing. So I am applying a force so that it starts rotating in this direction, so that means I am providing a particular direction also, the object was moving in a particular direction. So force, displacement, acceleration, velocity, all these will be considered into the case of a vector quantities, because these are going to have the values, that means the magnitude as well as the direction. Now moving ahead, the next thing that we are going to study will be the distance. As we know, what is distance? Distance is simply the length of the path travelled by a body in a certain interval of time. Alright, like you started walking for your school from your home, so you covered that journey in 2 hours. So how much distance you travelled, so that will be the distance. Some may take a long route, so in that case the longer route will be the distance travelled by the object. Some may take a shorter route, so in that case the shorter route will become the distance. So the actual path travelled by the object will be referred to as the distance, and the unit will always, SI unit will always be in meter. And the displacement, now this is something that you will be very particular whenever we are going to use this word. So this is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position of the body. Like let's say that I am having point A, point B and point C, and object started moving up the hill from point A, reach point B and then to point C. So that means the distance will be AB plus BC. But when I ask you what about the displacement, so displacement, he says that he finds out a tunnel which will connect directly and will be covered in, like let's say only 10 meter over here, this was 10 plus 10, so the distance covered was being 20 meter. Now over here let's say that he found a route in which he had to travel a shorter route basically. So he covered only within a specified distance of, like, let's say 5 meter, 6 meter, 10 meter. So that means this will be the displacement. So that is what I have encircled the root AC, that this will be your displacement. All right. Okay. Now, what is speed? Speed is basically the rate of change in motion. Now, what does this mean? That means initially might be an object is covering a distance of 20 meter, then after some time 40 meter, then after 60 meter. In every 1 second it is able to cover 20 more meter. So that means the speed will be simply 20 meter per second. All right, that whatever be the change happening in per unit time. Velocity, it will be the rate of change in displacement, we can say, because we know that displacement will be considered in a specified direction. There will be only one shortest route possible. There will not be any multiple ways there will be multiple ways to reach from point A to point C, but the shortest route will be just one. So that is why the displacement will be just in a specified direction. So that is what is velocity. Unit will be same for speed as well as for the velocity. Now let's talk about the uniform speed. If a body is covering equal distance in equal interval of time, so that will be considered to be as uniform speed, and the graph when we are going to plot will be a straight line. And same goes for uniform velocity also. If the body is covering equal distance in an equal interval of time in a specified direction, the direction is compulsory, the direction is must over here for every object. Remember this thing, this is very important. So what could be the non-uniform speed? Give a try. Now, some may write down, if a body covers unequal distance in unequal, you will just replace equal with unequal. No, you will replace any one, and we have to take into consideration the parameter for equal interval of time to be same. Then only we can see that in 1 second, in 1 second, in 1 second, is it covering same path, same distance, or the distance is getting increased, or the distance is getting continuously changing. So that is what is going to be used for non-uniform speed. So if a body covers equal distance but in unequal interval of time, so that will be considered to be as a non-uniform speed, and same goes for uniform velocity, non-uniform velocity. If a body covers equal distance in unequal interval of time, time will be the distance will be unequal and the time will always remain as equal interval. If a body covers unequal distance in equal interval of time, the time parameter will be same in 1 second or in 1 hour. What is the body covering the distance? If it is covering unequal distance, so that will be referred to as non-uniform velocity. Moving on, next what we have is average velocity. Now what is average velocity? Average velocity will be the total distance covered in a total interval of time. Like, let's say you went from your home to school, covered some distance in some interval of time, then you came back. Now it's not necessary that you will be taking the same time in going to school and coming back from school. In the morning time you may experience less amount of traffic, so you may reach early, and while coming home you may experience more amount of time because of the distance getting increased. No, the distance remains the same. It is the time that will be taken up more. So average velocity will be the total distance in going and coming, that will become the total distance, and total interval of time. So this upon this will give us the average velocity. Now the next very important thing is acceleration, the rate of change of velocity of a body. Like, let's say an object started moving. Initially it was moving at a speed of 20 meter per second, then 30 meter per second, 40. So that means in every 1 second the speed is getting increased. So that means the change in velocity is happening. Yes, it is happening with respect to time. So if there is a positive increment, so that will be referred to as a positive acceleration. If there is a negative increment or decrement, basically that will be referred to as a negative acceleration, and that is also known as retardation. Now when can we consider a case of acceleration and when can we consider a case of retardation? When an object starts from rest, so you have to accelerate, you hit the pedal of the accelerator so that your vehicle accelerates and increases the speed, so that will be the case of positive acceleration. And suppose you are about to reach your destination, so you will have to lower down the speed, you will apply brake so that the speed may come down and ultimately it will become 0. So in that case the speed is decreasing from 40 to 30 to 20 to 10 and ultimately 0. So that will be case of retardation. Alright, now let's take a case. Let's take up an object or a path over here. For an athlete is a circular track. He starts from point A and runs all over this circular track in a specified time. What will be the distance? The distance traveled by him in one complete revolution will be this boundary. And what is the boundary of a circle? That is always the circumference, and we know the formula for the circumference, that is equals to 2 pi r. Now when we talk about the displacement, always remember the displacement will be the shortest route. That means how far is the initial point and the final point. If the initial point was point A and same becomes the final point, because after one complete revolution he is reaching the very same point. So that means the displacement will be 0 in this case. Clear? Alright. Now there is a question that comes up, even if he is running with a uniform speed, he is not increasing the speed. He started with his journey to travel along this circular track at a speed of 20 meter per second, 30 meter per second with any particular speed. Then too we will say that the object is moving or having an accelerated motion. Any idea why? Okay, I'll tell. Let's say that he started moving or traveling from point A. As he reached this point, now what is the direction? The direction will be, when we are going to draw a straight line, that is basically a tangent. Suppose he reaches this point. Now over here, how to find out that what is the direction? We are going to draw the tangent, and over here, so that means at every point during his journey, even though he is traveling with the same speed, the direction is getting changed. And how does the acceleration is made up? It is made up of with a change in velocity, and velocity is always referred to the movement of an object in a specified direction. So that means if the direction is getting changed, so yes, then too it will be known as an acceleration. So acceleration will be on the basis of two factors. One, because of the change in the magnitude, or because of the change in direction. If any of these two factors, out of these two factors, if any one of them is getting changed, so this will be in a case of acceleration. Alright, maybe only the direction is getting changed, or maybe only the value is getting changed, doesn't matter. If any one of them is getting changed, yes, this will be referred to as an acceleration. So that is why even the movement of a planets around the sun, that will be referred to as accelerated motion. It doesn't mean that their speed are continuously increasing, their speed is same. That is why we are having only 365 days in one complete year. If their speed would increase or decrease, so the length of the tenure of 1 year is going to change. Now let's study about different types of graph. Over here, let's say that an object was covering after 1 second a distance of displacement of 8 meter. After 2 seconds, a displacement still was seen 8 meter. After 3 seconds, after 4 seconds. So that means over here we can say that an object is having the same displacement. That means it's not moving, even though the time is getting increased. So this will be a case in which when we are having any line being parallel to x-axis, so this will be the case that we can see. Alright, that the object is not moving. Suppose we have to calculate the slope of this line. So slope of this line will be taken up by using take any 2 points into consideration. So the difference in y upon the difference in x will give us the slope of this line. And what does slope means? In the displacement time graph, it will be the y part upon the x part difference. So what is y part denoting the displacement? What is x part denoting the time? So displacement upon time, what is displacement upon time? Rate of change in displacement with respect to the time, that is what is velocity. So we can calculate the value of the velocity of the slope using a displacement time graph. Now let's take a case in which we are having a object which is covering after 1 meter a displacement of 5 meter, after 1 second, after 2 seconds 10 meter, after 3 seconds 15 meter, and so on. Let's try to calculate a line which is not parallel to x-axis. So we can see that we are having these very coordinates. So this will be a straight line that we are going to obtain. Let's try to calculate the slope of this line. The slope will be, again we have considered 2 points A and C. So the difference in y upon the difference in x. So this is what we are going to obtain. So that means the velocity of this very object will be equal to 5 meter per second. Alright. So this will be the case to calculate the speed. So the displacement upon time, the slope of any line is going to give us the y part consisting in that very graph upon the x part. Clear? So this will be this was the case when a line is being parallel to x-axis. This was the case when it is giving a straight line. What if we are having somewhat a curve? So in that case we will not be having a fixed speed throughout the graph. At a particular point the speed is going to continuously change. So that means a tangent will give us the speed, or at that very point we can mark a location and then we can calculate accordingly. Now next what we have is the velocity time graph. Now in this case, let's say that after 1 second the object was traveling the speed of 20 meter per second, after 2 seconds 20, after 3, after 4, and so on. So this is what we are having. All right, so this will be again a line parallel to x-axis. So over there in the previous case we saw that the the velocity was coming out to be 0. Now over here, what will be the slope? The slope will again is going to be 0 for the velocity. Why? That means for the velocity time graph. All right, so that means over here when we are going to calculate, it will be taken into consideration 20 minus 20 upon 3 minus 2. Anywhere slope will be 0, but slope over here for the velocity time graph will not be the velocity. What is y part? Velocity. What is x part? Time. So velocity upon time, rate in change in velocity with respect to time, is acceleration. So that means the object is moving. It doesn't mean it is at rest. It is moving, but with a fixed speed. The velocity is fixed. The velocity is not changing. So that is why the acceleration is 0. Slope is 0 doesn't mean the velocity is 0. Slope means 0. Calculate the slope part, the y part upon the x part. That is being 0. So now let's try to calculate the area of this figure. For, let's say that we had to calculate for 4 seconds, up to 4 second interval, that what was the area, and let's see what is the area going to give us. We don't know. We can see that this is simply forming up a rectangle or square. So length into breadth, if it is getting a square, so side into side. So 20 meter per second, that is this part q p, and rq, that is 4 second. So 20 meter per second into 4 seconds, second is second will get cancelled, so we will be left with a meter. So yes, what we are getting? We are getting the displacement. So the area of a velocity time graph will going to give us the displacement part. Similarly, we can have a straight line, so in that case we will be getting a acceleration. We can have a declining curve in that going in the downward direction, so in that case the velocity is coming to 0, so that means it is a case of a retardation. So we can have 3 different possible cases. Next, let's talk about now an acceleration time graph. Acceleration, because it will be a dependent quantity, and time being independent has to be always taken upon x-axis. So after 1 second the acceleration was 2 meter per square second, after 2 seconds 4 meter per square second. So that means there is an increment of acceleration also happening. All right. So let's try to calculate the slopes. So we have chosen, or we have taken up any 2 coordinates. The difference in y upon difference in x is going to give us the slope part. So that is what we came across with 2 meter per square second. Let's try to calculate the area of this figure. What will be the area? We can clearly see that it is giving us a right angle triangle. So half base into height will give us the area. On calculating, applying and solving of the unit, will come across with 9 meter per second. Now what is meter per second? Correct, velocity. So that is why over here the area of a acceleration time graph is going to give us the velocity. So in this way we can calculate, using the graph, any particular thing. We can calculate the displacement, we can calculate this velocity, we can calculate anything that depends upon the question. So you can go through these questions, you can go through these things to calculate and see how can we calculate the graph. Now we will be left with one more class, and the next class we will be taking the motion equations and numericals for the motion equation to wind up with this chapter. All right, okay children, stay home, stay safe, bye.